Hello, welcome back to Two Bros Podcast. I'm Adam.
And I'm Joe.
And we're on episode, 23 now?
23.
23.
I think two more and it's our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, because when did we start? Did we start in April?
We started in May.
Started in May, okay. Yeah.
At least the episode 1 recording I have is in May.
May.
It's that's when it's labeled May.
Yeah, and I think the 18th episode is when we finally started putting up videos.
Yeah.
Which I'm noticing they're getting more hits with videos. Because audio, some of them just nobody even touched.
Yeah, and we're getting glitches now, though, every week.
Yeah, we spend, a good 25 minutes trying to get the sound right.
Yeah, trying to start, and it's like we couldn't get...
Every week, yeah, it's like a learning curve every single week. What the hell is going on, man? So,
yeah, and it's weird because, like, on my end, at least, I know I'm not changing settings or nothing.
No.
But, like from last week, I just turned everything off and then left it.
Well, so, and to that point, like, you couldn't hear the sound effects last week. Now, yeah. I could freaking... You can hear the sound effects.
Now I can hear them. And last week, I was running the sound effects because you could hear them.
Yeah.
And from my end now to this time tonight, you can't hear them.
Yeah, now I can't hear it on your end, but... and Zoom's going...
Yeah, Zoom's a bitch.
Fuckers. I got one of my things cut off there. Oh, touch his ass was cut off of my screen, so you gotta make sure. I want to touch his ass. All right, so tonight we got top 10 rock albums of the 80s. So yeah. Joe made a list and I made a list, and we're gonna compare them. I'm gonna just put in this disclaimer. Okay, so I pitched this idea to Joe, and I'm thinking, well, last time everybody said metal albums of the 90s. And then Joe threw me curveballs with like Chili Peppers and Van Halen. I'm like, huh? So this time I thought I was narrowing it down by doing, okay, we're going to do rock, not metal. We'll do rock. So I'm thinking like classic
you can
rock.
Include metal, but
yeah.
Because rock is broad, right? Metal's more like a subgenre.
Yeah. Well, it dawned on me, I think, by like Wednesday. I'm like, wait a minute. I bet you, oh, fuck. I bet you that motherfucker's now going to go even broader than what I was thinking in the pitch. So, yeah. So this is going to be interesting because we're going to be all over the place.
I might surprise you. So.
We'll see because
I started doing it, and there's so many, especially because I'm from the 80s. So there's so much shit in the 80s. And it's like I kept erasing shit because I'm like, oh, wait, no, this one's better. You know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what I got to do is just go for my influences. What top 10 like really influenced me? And that's the best way I looked at it to go. Because otherwise, I mean, it's like endless almost.
There's so many. Yeah, what I do is I just start throwing, as soon as it comes to me, put that on the list, just make a master big list, and then go, okay, now I got to start scaling down. Which one do I let, if I get this, I can't have that. So
now see, if we do, I was thinking about this, we do one with like songs. Right.
Yeah.
So the 80s rock songs. Then I'll probably throw a bunch of curves in there.
We probably should do like 20, though, if we're doing songs.
That's what I was thinking. Do like 20 or 30.
Yeah.
Because there's so many.
Yeah. But, my process was, like I said, come up with as many as I could think of and then just start eliminating. But because this was bugging me, like I said, as of Wednesday, and I'm like, I better give him a call. So I called you last night, and they were like, no, it's open. And even my wife's chiming in, see, you could go anywhere. Then she starts throwing out like, I don't know, Flock of Seagulls and all this Duran. I'm like, okay, all right. So then I'm like, okay, well then I wasn't going to put bands like Metallica, any metal, Slayer, anything like that. Cause I was like, dude, I'm thinking just classic rock, but okay, fine. All right. It's on. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Pac-Man.
Fireballs and shit.
So, that's kind of like I said. That's how I started. And then I was like, well, wait, it's rock. You can go all over the fucking place. And then that's when I had to reel it back in and say, well, look, I gotta pick ones that really influenced me.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best way to look at it.
And that's the other thing too. Like some of these lists, I mean, I'm sure people would go, what? Why did you put that? Not this? Because these are also, they're personally our list. And like you said, things that influenced us.
Yeah.
And I took it like also put myself in that era. So like nowadays, I might rate it a little differently if I'm exposed to it. But at the time, I mean, in the 80s, 89, I was 15. So, pretty much my childhood into my teenage years was the 80s for me. So,
yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll get that going with, let's start with the top, their number 10. I guess we'll do yours and then mine, right? We'll go back and forth for each number.
Yeah. We do 10 and then mine and then yours.
And then we'll do 9. Okay. Yeah. That's what we did last time.
So, yeah. We'll start with, okay, it's a Van Halen. It's 1984.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, I was like, the first Van Halen album I bought in the 80s, or when I started listening to it was in the 80s, it was 1982 Diver Down.
Yeah.
But that album didn't really have any main hits. It had a couple cover tunes on it.
I think it was mostly like covers and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the first like cassette I bought of them. But really, 1984 was the bigger influence overall for the decade.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up going with 1984.
Yeah, that's funny that you went with that because I didn't think you'd go with that one. I thought you might go with like Women and Children or Fair Warning, whichever one. Because
I mean, those were good too. They were kind of like Metallica.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to pick a bunch of them for Metallica, like their albums in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, I'm going to pick one. And that's kind of what I did with Van Halen.
Just picked one.
So I picked one, and then my first, obviously, like I said, the first cassette I bought of them was Diver Down. But that wasn't as big. 84 was their big one, and that was right before their split up.
Yeah, I think they had their biggest hit with Jump, and then Panama, and Hot for Teacher, and all that shit. So, yeah. Well, and then like I was 10 at the time, so it was a big album in my life too. Number 10, I had Slayer, South of Heaven. Now, this one I think would be kind of controversial. See, I wouldn't have even put Slayer until we had that conversation because I was thinking rock, like just rock and roll and shit. But the reason I put South of Heaven is because Slayer was one of those bands that the first album I was exposed to was South of Heaven. And then in the 90s, like you and I both got way more into Slayer, Divine Intervention, and then Season in the Abyss is my favorite album of theirs, but that was already 90.
Yeah.
And then
I had done that too with Slayer. We went when we got in the 90s.
Yeah.
I went back and listened to their early shit.
You go back in the catalog, and I know people are yelling probably at the screen if anybody's listening to this going, what about fucking Rain and Blood? Yeah, no, Rain and Blood is freaking awesome. But I was a little kid, and I didn't hear Rain and Blood in the 80s. I didn't hear none of it. I wasn't exposed to anybody that would have been listening to it.
And once again, I look at it as you got to go back to what influenced you the most. And if it's the 80s, and you're in the 80s at that time, like which album influenced you the most?
Yeah.
It's, like I said, you kind of, with Slayer, you got to kind of do like Metallica and say, well, I'm not going to put all their 80s albums in there.
No.
So I'm going to pick one, and then which is the one that influenced me more.
Yeah. So, and that's what I had to do. I mean, because it was the first Slayer album I ever heard. And it was the first Slayer song I ever heard was Seasons because South of Heaven, it opens with that. So, my number 10 is Slayer, South of Heaven. So I guess we'll move on to number 9.
Okay, number 9 is, wow. Okay, I was really going to go with this one, and then I crossed it out because I remembered the other one. So the one I was originally going to go with for number 9 is Police Synchronicity. That in 1983, that was one of their biggest album. They
would have been on my list, but I couldn't fit them. Yeah, that's the album I would have picked too.
And it wasn't so much that I was into Police as much, but drummer wise, I love Stuart Copeland.
Stuart Copeland, awesome
drummer. So I mean he influenced me a lot. So I had him, and then the light bulb went off while I was changing the list around, and I had to pull a one up, so I crossed them out, and I went with Def Leppard, High and Dry, 1981.
Oh, so 9 is Def Leppard.
Yeah, so 9 is Def Leppard now. So Police is out. They got dropped.
Oh, so you got notes of your thinking, your process of what you went through. That's pretty good because I didn't even think about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Synchronicity, kind of same thing for me. That would have been the Police album I would have picked, but I ended up crossing them off because I just couldn't fit them.
Yeah, so if we did like 20, they probably would have made like 13 or something. You know what I mean? They would have probably been on the list, but higher up or lower. Or down.
That's crazy. You picked that album too, because and maybe too because of what we're going through at the time. That was when Mom and Jim started dating, and that was like a big album at the time. There was a lot of change in our life going on then. So.
And Jim used to play that album.
Yeah, he had. I'd play his CD constantly because he had the CD.
Yeah.
So my number 9 was Motley Crue. Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. So I had to put, if I'm put a Motley Crue album, some might say Dr. Feelgood, but the very first Motley Crue album I heard was Shout at the Devil, and I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
And
that's a good one.
Yeah, and because the next one you and I both didn't like. Jennifer's like, Dear Pain, it's got, Home Sweet Home. I'm like, yeah, that fucking, even they say that was their worst one because they were all on drugs and shit. Vince was busy running over people.
Dying in fucking dumpsters.
So that's my number 9.
Punching that hepatitis.
Oh, yeah. Well, that wasn't
that
there.
Was until the 90s.
Yeah, he had the wholesome girl then. He had Heather Locklear and just ruined her.
Yeah, she was a whole
damn.
She was passed around. Come on.
There's famous quotes from Joe. Yeah, she was a whole too. Well, he messed her up because then she's like, well, I need another rock star. Give me Richie Sambora.
Yeah, you get sloppy eights and shit.
Yeah, so, all right. Number 8. We got.
Okay, so number 8. All right, what I had for number 8 was I originally put down Number of the Beast, Iron Maiden, 1982.
Yeah.
Because that had a lot of influencing songs on it, and it was probably in the first Iron Maiden that I was exposed to, the album.
Yeah.
And then from there, once I liked them, then you start going back to their catalog and shit. But then I remembered, I was like, how could I leave this one off my list? So, boom, they got bumped. And Metal Hell's Quiet Riot. That overall was way more influenced than Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Had a bigger influence on me than Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I have to agree. That's your number 8, huh?
Yeah.
Fuck. Guess what my number 8 is?
What?
Metal Health Quiet Riot.
See, I thought we were going to be both on this one and be all over. But
yeah. Because it was, especially for me, I was a little kid. I think that came out, 83?
Yeah, 83.
So I was 9. I was like, this is awesome. I love this shit. And the jacket, the straight jacket, and then the mask, for a little kid, that stuff's cool. So number 8 was.
And back then they had the videos were big.
Yeah, and that's all I knew these bands was videos.
Yeah, all these albums had their videos and shit.
Yeah. So. And that's what blew them up. That's what made them. They were like they had the first million selling metal album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. I was with them, and I also had like Rat Out of the Cellar. I had to cross it off because I just couldn't fit it. And it's like, I love Rat, but at the time, like Quiet Riot, I couldn't get enough of it. I was so into that album. So.
ZZ Top.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's 8.
Yeah. So number 7.
The number 7 was straight. I just kept it. I didn't switch it out. Suicidal Tendencies, their self-titled album, their first one. That was 1983 when the album came out. They had, I think, an EP before that.
Yeah. And then the first one was, the self-titled.
Yeah. So that had all the main ones that I first heard. Shot Your Mama, or I Saw Your Mama.
And Your Mom's Dead, yeah.
Yeah, I Shot Reagan. Well, I Shot the Devil, but I Shot Reagan.
Yeah.
And Institutionalized.
Institutionalized the biggest
Pepsi,
one.
And they wouldn't give it to me.
Yeah. All I wanted was a Pepsi. That's funny you say that, because, that's our Turn It Up for tonight, and I picked them. But they didn't make the list because I didn't really listen to them. That's another band that in the 90s I started listening more. Once I hit my late teens and 20s, then it was, I'd go back.
That was, early 80s when my buddy Mike O'Neill, the one I mentioned about before.
Yeah.
He introduced me to that underground tape of Metallica. And he used to play that little cassette tape. And he was the one that started playing Suicidal. I was like, who the fuck are these guys? And they were like wild because they were like punk thrash. And then when I saw the photo of them, they're a bunch of Mexicans, like
from
the barrio. And I was like, these guys are playing fucking like thrash metal, punk, and shit.
Yeah, which was big in like gangbangers.
Yeah, so that just like tripped me out, and so yeah, that was a big influence on me in the early '80s. So I kind of forgot about them until you had mentioned that you wanted to do them for Turn It Up.
Yeah,
and then I started going back through it. So when I was making the list, I was like, oh, I gotta have that fucking album. That was the big influence.
Yeah. So I got more to interject on that, but we'll do that at the end because that's just going to take away all our talking points.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then, like I said, it's funny because I have my notes over here, and I'm like, yeah, I can go back. Yeah, I was going to take Rat off, but Out of the Cellar, I love that album too. So I had on here Def Leppard Pyromania, and that was the one that actually didn't make it. There was a couple other ones. Scorpions, Love at First Sting. Had to cross them off. So then I went with, Rat, Out of the Cellar. And I copied that on a cassette tape from somebody else, and I just played the shit out of it till that tape broke.
Yeah.
Also loved Invasion of Privacy, but Out of the Cellar was the first one, and that was, I think, their biggest.
Yeah, that had more hits on it.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great album all the way through. So, number 6.
Number 6 was, I had South of Heaven.
Oh, okay.
Slayer. Now, I was thinking, like you said, Raining Blood.
Yeah.
South of Heaven was the first one I heard.
Yeah, me too.
And I just like more of the songs on the album, you know?
Yeah.
And that was late 80s. I was 88, so it was a little later than 80s.
Yeah, that's why I came across it, and, I think it was like a sophomore in high school. And that was the first one. And it starts out slow and creepy with South of Heaven.
Yeah.
So I had for number 6, Megadeth, Peace Sells. So,
okay.
As for Megadeth albums, their best one, I had it in my top 10 list, but that was 90s, which I think is their Master of Puppets, is Rust in Peace. But Peace Sells is a great album. I guess it'd be kind of the Ride the Lightning, but not even, because it's not the same order.
Yeah.
Because they had a couple different ones. And
that one still had their original guitarist too, right? That Poland? Or was he gone by then already?
I don't remember, man. There's so many guitar players throughout the years.
I know.
And
I think that one still had him. But I think that was like his last album. Because when they did Rust, that was that other guy, Nick Menza.
Yeah, Nick Menza and then Marty Friedman. But I think...
Or Nick Menza, was a drummer.
Nick Friedman was the guitar player. But I think because when I watched the documentary on Megadeth, he even said that the bass player and the drummer... Not the bass player, that's David Ellefson. The guitar player and the drummer had they were just drug habits. And they were doing so much drugs that they were finding gear missing. So they go out on tour, and then they have to buy their fucking gear back because these drug heads would fucking sell the shit. So, those guys definitely. I think they were both kicked out at the same time. So,
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't know the exact days on that stuff, but it's all on Wikipedia if anyone wants to look it up. Number 5.
Let's see, number 5. I had it was Scorpions. And this was hard because their bigger album was Love at First Sting.
Yeah.
But my first album that I bought, a cassette, was Blackout, their 1982 album.
Oh, that was 82?
So, yeah, I played the shit out of that when I first got it. I love that. So that one was the one for me.
Yeah.
Blackout. So if you want to check it out, I recommend it. It's a good album.
Yeah, it's a good album. That's one of those things, too. I went back. I had Love at First Sting, but I think... When was it? Do you know when that one came out? Was that 84 or 85?
That was 84.
Yeah.
Because I seen them in 85 on that Day on the Green.
Yeah.
So that was the album that they were,
touring on. And that Bad Boys Running Wild, Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Still Loving You.
Still Loving You. Yeah. That was, I was 10. So that was like a very, 1984, that era, I was really starting to find rock and music. And but I just couldn't fit them in. I went with AC/DC, Back in Black. Because AC/DC was just, man, like even in high school, and like the dudes that listen to rap and stuff, you put on an AC/DC song at a party and everybody was cool with it. Like they were just one of those party bands because they talk about drinking and having a good time. So yeah, I had to put AC/DC, and if I'm going to put an AC/DC album, it's got to be Back in Black.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even around the 70s. Of course, I listened to all the Bon Scott stuff and Highway to Hell and all that stuff. But yeah, we're doing 80s, so
yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're to number 4.
That was your number 5. My number 4 is Back in Black, AC/DC, 1980.
Damn, we're pretty much right there.
Yeah, see, I thought we were gonna. It almost looks like we fucking teamed up and went through our list together. Yeah, but we didn't.
We just came up with a bunch of bands that here now pick from here.
Yeah,
because my number 4 is Van Halen, 1984.
Oh shit.
That's why I didn't elaborate on that, but yeah, that was a heyday. I was 10. I was running wild at 10, man. Todd's dad was letting us take the car out. It's like, I spent the night at Todd's house. He's like, you want to take the car out? Like, what? Dude, we're in 5th grade. Dude, watch this. Hey, Dad, can I take the car? Yeah, give me a paper. Now, we didn't go driving down main streets. We stayed in, like, Cache Valley has a bunch of hills. And, to anybody who doesn't know the area. So we stayed off of the main streets and we just drove around the back streets. But it doesn't mean it's okay. I know it's wrong. As a, 48-year-old man, yeah, I would never let my kids do that. But, yeah, what do you know? So this was the era. 1984 was debauchery is starting. And
that was Mom's favorite album too, because she was always playing it when she come home from work.
Yeah, because that one I saw it at I think it was Payless. Basically, it's the local drugstore like CVS, and yeah, I saw it there. It must have just came out recently. And then we told that story. Then you borrowed my tape, and you fucking were gonna pull your shit again. But she kept bugging me. Get your tape back from that fucking kid. Because I played the shit out of that tape, and then the video was all over MTV. She loved Jump. That was her theme song. She'd come home and play Jump. You'd hear blasting. So
yeah, she'd be blasting it, and then the dogs would hear it, and then they'd start fucking.
They could just go crazy. Mom's home, mom's home, mom's home. So yeah, 1984 Jump, number 4 for me, anyways. So top 3. What do you got for 3?
Okay, for number 3, I got Out of the Cellar, Rat.
Oh, damn. You ranked that up there. That's a good album. I got Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
Huh. So
I'd listen to, dude, I mean, I was in junior high then. I was starting to listen to, like, other stuff. But, man, that album came out. I couldn't stop listening to it. It was a great album.
I was going to put them on my top 10, but, like I said, if we had 20, they'd probably be, up there, like, 14 or something.
Yeah.
So they were late. That was what, 87 it came out.
Yeah.
A little later in the 80s. So it's too the influence. Like I like that album too. I mean, I have it. A lot of good songs on it, but it's just kind of where you were at, as far as influences.
Yeah. And you were 6 years older than me. So 87, I was 13. So that means you were 19,
Yeah.
Yeah. You were, I don't know.
I was already in my blackout.
Yeah, I'm sure those are the years you kind of start to miss some things because you start to party and chase chicks a lot. So, yeah, that was my number 3. Number 2.
Number 2, I got Shot at the Devil.
Okay.
That was my first. They were a big influence back when they first came out with that.
Yeah.
Because I had missed the Too Fast for Love and the album right before. So when I first heard them was Shot at the Devil.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I was like, man, this bad. Because of how young I was. He said, oh, this is fucking heavy. Wow.
Yeah.
This is like Blows Kiss Away and shit.
Oh, yeah. They had the makeup and shit on, but it was like fucking evil and just metalish, and
Looks to Kill.
I like it. They with your buddy Mike was like, hey, you ever see those guys, dude? They're a bunch of freaks. And I'm like, no. And then I saw them like, yeah, they kind of do look weird, to some little 10-year-old. So, but whatever.
Yeah, they were cutting edge back then. So
yeah, this one here, for me, they own the top 2. Number 2 is Master of Puppets. Okay. And that, I think for most people, I mean, if I ranked it, Master of Puppets is the all-time greatest metal album ever written, or thrash album, however you want to put it. But we're talking about back then and when you came into it and what you were exposed to. So it would be my number 2.
Okay.
So number 1.
You got Metallica's number 1 too.
Yep. I think it's obvious one.
My number 1 is Master of Puppets, Metallica.
Yeah.
And that, once again, it's like I loved Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning and even Justice, but I mean, Justice, they didn't have Cliff.
Yeah.
And the first two, the next one that I would have probably put instead of Master would probably been Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
With that lineup, but yeah, Master was it just blew everything out. So
it was like it just the albums. It's genius. Just the way everything just fits together. It's brilliant. Everything that they wrote there. Yeah. So your number 1 is Master of Puppets, which, like I said, I think that most people would have picked that. But for me, my number 1 is Ride the Lightning, because that's when I found them. Because that was the first Metallica album I ever heard, and I remember my friend had the tape, and he's like, "Hey, dude, you want to hear something heavy? Check this out." And I'm like, "Okay." And then By Fire with Fire opens up with all clean guitars and shit. And I'm like, "What's this stuff? Like Beethoven or whatever?" This isn't heavy. He's like, "Wait," and then it just gets heavy, and then the singing ain't really singing. It's like Hetfield's just freaking barking, and I'm like, "Oh, this is what I've been looking for. This is it. This is metal. I knew this could happen." So yeah, my aha moment was like Ride the Lightning. Most people be like, "Yeah, no, it's a good album, but Masters is better."
Yeah.
Arguably, and I'd probably agree nowadays, but for me, that was my gateway drug to Metallica and metal. And after that, it was like, it's got to be to this level, or I want to hear it.
Yeah, like I said, I could have put all their albums on the list.
Yeah.
But, you got to make room to put some of the other ones. And that's why I said, okay, well, I'm just going to put one Metallica album.
Which is pretty much what I did with most bands, but that one, it's like, I'm going to put Ride Lightning and leave Masters off. It's like, it's the greatest metal album I think ever written, so.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. They had to own 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then that just left off, like I said earlier, Scorpions I crossed off, Iron Maiden. The other one he exposed me to at that time was, Peace of Mind, because The Trooper, I love that song. He exposed me.
We even covered that one.
Yeah, we covered that. And Iron Maiden and Metallica's Ride the Lightning. My buddy had both those tapes. And then it's like, I like these guys. They're heavy too. But that operatic singing at the time compared to Fight Fire with Fire, hell no. Let's fight. Let's fight.
Yeah.
That's war music right there. So, yeah.
And then, of course, a big one that I left off was Judas Priest.
Yeah. See, because the way I was thinking about this before, when I was saying metal or rock, I'm thinking like classic rock, basically what you'd hear on the radio. But where it gets kind of great is like Priest, because they play You Got Another Thing Coming and Breaking the Law. I wasn't sure where to put bands like that, or Ozzy, because I'm thinking those are all metal, but they're lighter than the newer stuff that was coming, like thrash.
Yeah.
So, I'm surprised you didn't put Priest on here.
Well, it's just like you said, influence-wise.
Yeah.
They were an influence, but these other ones were bigger influences on me.
Yeah.
I had to go like that because we only had 10 to do.
Yeah, it gets hard. You have to start eliminating on what you were really listening to at the time. And when you go back, it's different than what we would pick nowadays.
Yeah.
Even though, we made this list now, but you put yourself back in that time frame and that age. So, all right. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. I think that was... So
we still had pretty much the same, a lot of the same.
Well, we're brothers, and we pretty much shared music. Like, you were stealing my tapes and not giving them back. And...
Fucking kid.
Get your fucking tape back for that fucking kid. I know, all right, Mom. I said I'll get it. He says he's going to give it to me. Where's your fucking tape? I'm going to go buy my own damn tape. Well, yeah, you bought me the first. She bitched at me about, because what little kids get. I saw the tape with the baby smoking the wings of the angel, and I'm like, ooh, Van Halen. That's Van Halen. Mom, can I get this? Mom, can I get this? She's like, not this week. Next week I get paid. We'll come back and get it for you. And Mom, that means we're not coming back to get it. But I was a little kid. You don't tell a little kid that, because it was like, Mom, can we go get the tape? Mom, can we go get the Friday came along? Can we go get the tape? Can we? No. And finally Saturday, she's like, let's go get the goddamn tape then. Bought me the tape, and I was just like, yeah, I just couldn't stop playing it. So those are the good times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Childhood innocence. So I guess, let's move on to music news.
All right, let's go.
Music news. All right.
Ugh. You want to start? You want me to start?
I can start if you want. Let's see. First one I was going to go with is Cliff Burton Museum. I guess they're opening up in Sweden. Okay. I'm not even going to try to mention the name of the city or the province because I can't pronounce that stuff. I know I'm going to just butcher it, but it's there on Blabbermouth, and I think it's on Loudwire, so you can go look it up. But basically,
it's near where the bus crashed.
Yeah, it's near where the bus crashed. They got a venue there that and fans around the world sent money to help build this and have it, created there as a memorial for Cliff Burton. And they're going to be it opens Saturday, May 14th will be opening day of the museum. And, I think that's cool. Anything Cliff. And the fact that, like, this is a whole other country, it's Sweden. That's like the opposite side of the planet from where I'm at.
And it's just weird how many decades later they finally did this.
Yeah. And even I think, what was it when they made they put up like a tombstone or a placard there for him.
Yeah, they put a stone, they said.
Yeah, and it's got his image in it. Dude, it's real nice. It's better than the one at his elementary school. The ones I showed pictures of that just says Cliff Burton.
They didn't have the budget for it.
Yeah, well, Marshall Elementary in Castro Valley, yeah. But hey, they made Cliff Burton Day. I think on his birthday is the Cliff Burton Day in Castro Valley.
Oh, did
they? Yeah, they made it official. So yeah, it's cool to see, man, because he was only 24 when he died, and they were a young upcoming band. They weren't getting radio airplay. Nobody would think that band would be that huge from that stuff. But so that's the first one I had. Figured, I'm such a Cliff Burton fan. That,
I had that one on my list, but yeah. So the one I got to start off with is Pink Floyd. They got a new song in 28 years, their first new song. And they're doing it basically to raise money for Ukraine.
Ukraine, I was going to say. Everybody's doing Ukraine.
They got a Ukraine, I guess a singer from one of the bands from Ukraine.
Yeah.
He's singing on it. And they're not with Roger Waters. They still haven't made up that.
I don't think that's coming back. I think they're done. Roger Waters picks on them too much.
So it's just Gilmore and basically in the original drummer Nick Mason.
Yeah.
And then I guess some of their later, like the bass player that they were using in these later decades.
And then all the same studio musicians that they always bring along.
Yeah. So it's basically Mason and Gilmore.
Yeah, and that's been what it's the line. That's been the band since when did they break with Roger Waters? I think that was 90s. I think definitely.
Yeah, because when they had that hit, "Learning to Fly."
Yeah, that was like early mid 90s.
Yeah, I think that was like 94 or something.
And they did one more like show with them, a reunion. I don't remember if it was Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or they did a reunion show. And I think Roger Waters was like, "Yeah, let's get the band back together." And they're like, "No, not doing that." He's a dick.
They're like Queensrÿche.
Yeah, that guy's not come back. Or Skid Row. Hey guys, want to do an anniversary? No.
Burn too many bridges.
Yeah, not going there again. It's like those couples that break up. They're always fighting and they break up, and then like a month or two later they're back together again. Yeah. And you even see people like that. They've been married, they get divorced, and then years later they're married again. It's like
they remarry. We're trying it again.
Why? You're going to do the same shit. It doesn't work. It didn't work the first time. It's not going to work the fifth time. Yeah. Well. Let's see. The second one I had was Dave Mustaine's looking for a new beer company to work with for his beer.
Oh, you already got rid of them?
Well, I guess they were in a contract, so that was so many years, and he liked it. He liked their saison. Yeah. I guess if that was only seasonal, Tu Limon was all year round. They'd have that one, and I guess because they're a Canadian company, he was like, "Well, I could probably find somebody here in America," which you can. There's you could throw a stone and hit breweries now. They're all over this country.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
So, yeah, it's like, why do you have to go up to Canada to get your beer? And nowadays, with the way the world's looking, you don't know where you're going to be shipping stuff, and might as well keep it local. And distribution is a big problem he mentioned, because it's like, he didn't know at the time that, you have to work through certain distributors to get the beer. But if anyone wants to check it out, I know that I've seen it at More Wine. So if you have a More Wine near you, they have it there, or they had it on the shelves. So,
they had his old one over here at Total Wine.
Total Wine. That's it. Yeah. So you have them out there too. I think they're a chain across the country.
Well, I haven't seen the new one, but I don't drink no more, so I don't really go in there. I'll go in there and get a cigar here and there.
What was the old one? You remember?
I forget, but I had seen a commercial because he did a little promo commercial. This was a few years back.
Really?
Yeah. And that was on YouTube.
So
you could it's probably still up there, little video.
There. Yeah, Total Wine. I watched the name of the theorem. That's where they had it. So, because they're a chain, they could carry it. And they had
They don't have Liquor Barn still out there?
No, Liquor Barn's gone. They went in the 80s. And I don't know where they would. I know they had the one in Cache Valley, but.
No, they had the one out in Pleasanton. Remember? You go over the hill.
Oh, they had one there too? No, that's all gone.
That was by the In-N-Out. It was right in that same shopping center. Remember when they put that In-N-Out where it was always packed?
Yeah, it's right by across from the Home Depot. Now,
it was right there.
There's a Beverages and More there, and a Smart and Final.
Oh, Bevmo. That's what.
Bevmo.
Yeah, it turned into Bevmo. So they still got that one.
Yeah, Bevmo's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you go check it out, or check out his new one when it comes out.
Yeah.
What do you got for the second one?
Then I got Mammoth had to cancel some dates due to COVID, but it was some of the other guys in the band that had it. Because Wolfgang, I guess he left for a few days in between the tour to go to the Grammys, and he was there with his mom. They were doing a tribute to Eddie.
Yeah.
And so he cut out for a couple of days to go back to the Grammys, and then when he came back, he got everybody tested again because they were kind of separated.
Yeah.
And then some of the other guys had tested positive. So they had like 6 dates left, so they just canceled those. And he's hoping to make them up sometime in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just part of doing business nowadays, no matter what you do. Yeah. COVID's going to sink in there every once in a while. But I think now they just handle it like a cold. I don't even think, I think all the rules are definitely changing. So, yeah. So look for, if you were on those dates, if you were going to buy tickets for those shows, and just check your dates. Make sure it's still...
he said in the article that he wanted to make them up at some point. So
yeah,
I guess the other band, there's a couple bands on there that tour.
Yeah,
so they're still going to do the shows, just without his band.
Oh, so everybody's probably going to see mainly Mammoth.
Okay. Yeah.
So, excuse me. Yeah, and then I have Joe Satriani just recalled in an interview. He was on Eddie Trunk, and he was talking about giving lessons to Kirk Hammett.
Yeah.
Or no, not Eddie Trunk. It was Kaylee Olson's YouTube show. And he, talked about that Hammett was the last student that he taught before
Kaylee Olson. How come we're not getting these interviews?
Yeah, well, neither of us is Kaylee. I haven't seen her, but she probably looks a lot better than those two bald, fat Mexicans.
Yeah, I guess.
That's not appealing to the eye, but
hey, we got somebody listening from India, all right?
All right, fuck yeah. And, she don't have Pac-Man. We got Pac-Man
Kaylee. Yeah, I got Pac-Man in the studio today.
Hey, Pac-Man, what you doing, Pac-Man?
See who gets that reference.
If you know, write in the comments down below. What movie is that? What movie is that? yeah, so I guess he was the last student that he taught, and he remembers, having him teaching him. And then I guess they did a show years later in Canada. Metallica invited Joe Satriani to come on, and do that show. And they got up and did a jam together. And, it's kind of trippy, though. You think you're taking lessons, and then one day your teacher goes off, and you're like, wow, dude, he's made it. And then you go off, and you're in the biggest metal band on the planet. It's like, well,
hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Hey, teacher, can you wipe my guitar down?
Wipe my ass.
Mom! I never know what she's doing back there. Meatloaf! What movie is that from? Reference down below. So, yeah, I found that interesting because, it's trippy where you start out in life and then as you go along, where you end up,
Yeah.
And it's trippy to think that Kirk Hammett took lessons from Satriani. But when I was working in this warehouse in the 90s, and there was this 80s rock guitar guy, right? He was an 80s rocker because he was like 10 years older than the rest of us. Most of us were in our 20s there, and he was like in his mid 30s. And he was telling us that, back in the 80s, you could look up Joe Satriani's, even if his album came out still, and he was listed in the phone book because he was a guitar teacher. So he's like, I looked him up and I was like, dude, there's Joe Satriani. He's like, I called him and I go, what do you say? And he go, I just hung up. I couldn't talk to him. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, man, but I called Satriani. I'm like, that's trippy.
Well, that's like the drummer from Journey.
Yeah.
He always had ads for drum lessons in the BAM. The local music paper.
Oh, did he?
The Bear.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, because at one point I was thinking, I should take a couple lessons just to say I took lessons from him.
Yeah.
And I was like, at that time, Journey was kind of broken up. That was when they had Randy Jackson in.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Oh, that's true, because that's past their prime, so he's just going his name. And and BAM, for anybody who doesn't know what that is, there was a Bay Area music magazine, and that thing had been around for years, I think since the 70s.
And they broke out now. For the last I checked when I was out there, because they incorporate now the LA scene.
It changed. I think it's all went away. It changed to Zero. They started calling it Zero, and then it was like basically California, which is LA and Bay Area. And now I don't see anywhere. But then again, there's like no record stores really anymore, so I don't know where you would distribute that stuff. So
they probably have a website.
Yeah, it's probably all digital. Well, oh, you think we'd Google that and know what we were talking about? Zero magazine.
Well, if we had a decent producer, they would do it for us.
Yeah. Anybody wants to be a producer in an awesome upcoming show.
Yeah. Getting hits from India.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'll take it, man. Anyone who wants to listen to it. Zero magazine. Zero. No, something else.
Nothing. They're out.
Yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, but yeah, as far as I know, I haven't seen that stuff lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
what do you got next?
Nothing really. I mean, there's a big one that pissed everybody off, but I'm not even going to give any comment on it with Kid Rock and Trump. I'm sure people. No. I just read the comments and people are like, just talking shit. It's like, whatever. Everybody needs to lighten the fuck up. Is what I think about. Is fuck it. Fuck your politics, everybody.
Yeah.
Whatever you're into, go fuck yourself. Who cares?
They take it a little too serious.
Yeah, everybody gets too worked up. It's like, get the fuck on. This cancel culture shit. Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck them all. So.
Well, the last one I had was about Joey Jordison.
Oh, yeah.
It was about the Grammys again.
In memoriam.
They did a memoriam and they left him out.
Yeah. Well, apparently, if you went to the website, he was listed on there. But the night of the Grammys, he was omitted from the list.
He was omitted.
It's like, well, dude, you knew he died and you had him there, but then you couldn't put him on the list?
Yeah, I know.
Fuck the Grammys. Like, seriously, fuck that shit.
It was because Taylor Hawkins just died, so they made a big deal about that.
Yeah, which is a big deal. I mean, they're the biggest rock band on the planet right now, so... Yeah, but to omit Joey Jordison, Yeah. Yeah, fuck the Grammys. I don't even watch that shit no more because they don't even put metal on the air on the show. So fuck them. They don't need us. And metalheads are diehards, you idiots.
And they always pick fucking these new people that you never heard of.
That nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, like where they crawl out of.
Yeah, because I listen to new rock and new music all the time, but I never see those guys on there. Like I never seen like that Ice Nine Kills or shit. I don't see any of that stuff. I don't see, or even like nowadays you would think like the Hailstorm. They're just a rock and roll band led by a female singer, Lizzie Hale. You'd think that they would be up there, but no, it's all bullshit. So, yeah, I didn't really.
Well, and then not the Grammys, but talk about radio again. Beat a dead horse.
Yeah,
they because Def Leppard's coming out on that tour with Motley Crue, right? So they got a new album. I guess they're coming out with.
They can play that shit.
They have a new single, right?
They play that shit.
And then the bitch on the radio this week, we were listening, and she comes on and she mentions it. And it's like, yeah, you're playing Def Leppard music, so just play the new
And then
track,
she goes, "Here's pour sugar on me."
yeah, pour some sugar on me. Here's one from Def Leppard. I was like, why don't you did kick everybody with the fucking announcement? Just play the fucking track.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, not gonna do
it. Yeah, radio's dead. I don't know what goes on there. They made remember Live 105 when you were out here? They should be like alternative, right? Now, it's not Live 105 no more. It's weird. It's like a hodgepodge. It's like anything goes radio. So they'll play stuff like Elton John to, I don't know, like AC/DC to Lionel Richie. Like, it's just all over the freaking map.
So it's like a Drunk Joe playlist.
It's like a Drunk Joe playlist, yes. And it's like, okay, I mean, I guess, but usually, they didn't do that in radio before. Yeah. They kept the genres to like, okay, it's this genre, it's this genre. So I don't know. The guy in the warehouse was playing that station. He's packing it. I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? 1 minute they're playing "Zombie" by the Cranberries, the next minute they're playing, fucking I don't know who knows what, Jimi Hendrix and.
But no new Def Leppard though, huh?
Oh, they definitely play no new Def Leppard. If anything, they play some "Pour Some Sugar on Me" or "Animal."
Rocket.
Daylight. Yeah, that shit. Fuck radio. Dead anyway. But yeah, I saw everybody's trying to raise money for Ukraine, help them out. There's some other band I saw that Decapitated. They got Ginger, the singer for Ginger, Tatiana.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, because I read an article. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, Decapitated.
Yeah.
And she's, as far as I know, she's here. She's in Southern California. Yeah. She's hanging out with a vato, eh? Hey, check this out, eh?
El gallo negro.
Dude, when you see her, that picture like you had up, she looked like a fucking Mexican
like
chick.
Like
hey, what's up, vato? How you doing, eh? Órale, güey.
Hey, chica.
So, that's a ball I had because the other stuff, it's like there's some other guy he compares. That was the thing. Compared Putin to Hitler. Can we stop with the fucking Hitler already? Everything's fucking Hitler. It's Hitler. It's Hitler. No, the guy is
Nazi or the Nazis
or the Nazis. Nazis, Hitler, Nazis, Hitler, Hitler, Nazis. Look, Putin's a piece of shit. I ain't defending that guy. Screw him, and he's killing innocent people. But he's not fucking Hitler. Hitler and the Nazis were fucking the worst thing I think we've ever seen in history. Let's stop. Because it's like when everything's bad, then nothing's good, or that saying.
Yeah, it's watered down now.
You take away it's something you dislike is to that level. It's always a 10. Then you're the boy who cried wolf. Nothing's a 10. So get over it. Fuck. Yeah, Putin's a piece of shit. He sucks. Yeah. I just sort of mentioned on that one because I saw that. Oh, another guy calling. Here we go again.
Yeah.
There's destruction. Shamir calls Putin a new Hitler. Said he needs to be stopped. I agree with he needs to be stopped. But let's get the fuck on with that shit.
So he don't want to touch his ass?
And maybe he does.
You're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
And then he's going to touch your ass.
Your balls are showing.
Yeah, that's right. I get fucking lost on it. Back to the old days when we're fucking making the sound effect. All right. You got any more news?
No.
Okay, let's get to turn it up.
It's now time for Turn It Up.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We're back with Turn It Up. Yeah. Everybody's favorite segment.
We're doing questions first, right?
Yeah, we start with questions, and like we mentioned earlier, Suicidal Tendencies is the band.
Yeah, this week you picked Suicidal. Although you didn't have one of them, their albums on your top 10 list.
Well, because you know what my favorite Suicidal album is? Lights, Camera, Revolution. I think that's 90.
Yeah.
I love that album.
That was a trio, right?
Yeah, Robert Trujillo was in there, and Trujillo. And pardon me, I pronounce Spanish names shitty, and because I'm
you're a Nazi.
I'm not a normal Mexican. Yeah, this is the Miller.
You're a skinhead.
Skinhead. Oh no, that's like our father would say. Oh, when we start shaving our heads, are you skinhead now? No, I got male pattern baldness from you. And instead of walking around with that fucking ring around the head and looking like Bozo.
Looking like Jada Pickett?
Yeah. No, at least she shaved her head. That looks better than fucking the Bozo the Clown. Our dad would let the sides fucking grow, get lazy on cutting that shit, looking like Bozo the Clown, shit hanging out. I'm like, fuck that. Shave it off. I'd rather be bald by choice, not by circumstance.
Yeah, but now he looks like the Indian on that nickel.
Well, now he's shaved it off because he realized that shit's all white. His eyebrows, everything's all white. He just shaved it off.
His bald hair.
Yeah. So, oh, what, you're a skinhead now?
Oh, shit.
Oh, but we're sidetracked. All right.
All right. Question 1.
Yeah.
Who formed Suicidal Tendencies? The founding member.
Well, the only guy that's still there, I'm gonna have to go with Mike Muir.
Yeah. They get harder, so
I'm probably gonna miss some of these.
So okay, and then
ding, that was correct. Yeah.
And then number 2, what Metallica member was once a member of Suicidal?
Robert Trujillo.
Yeah.
Hey, bonus question: what other band was Robert Trujillo in? He was in Infectious Grooves, which a lot of people don't probably know, but I think that was also Mike Muir too, right?
Yeah, that was off.
Like a side project. And then
yeah, see, I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, and then he played in Black Label Society with Zakk Wylde, and he's also played with Ozzy for years. I think he came over from Ozzy when he joined Metallica.
His son played with Korn.
His son played with Korn, yeah, at 13.
Yeah.
In South America. All right, so I got that one right, yeah.
And then the third one, 1983, what was the label that the band released its self-titled debut album on?
Ooh. I'm just going to take a guess. Combat?
No, Frontier Records.
Frontier. I knew it was something like that.
I told you they were going to get harder.
I think Combat was Megadeth. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's what Meatloaf said.
Got some meatloaf on that one. Big old chunk of it.
Said.
Got loafed. That doesn't sound right. Or maybe it does. I don't know what you're into. If somebody's into that, it's all cool. You know.
I do not want to touch his ass.
All right. So, yeah. Suicidal Tendencies, they formed in 1980 out of Venice, California. They were punk hardcore, but they had problems because, you know, like Joe said earlier, they were like, look like a bunch of cholos. Yeah. So they, and it's been said and rumored, but not, I don't know if it's been proven, that they were affiliated with gangs. So a lot of times they'd play venues and gang violence would break out. Shit would get fucked up. Gangs would show up, violence, start fighting. And then it was like when they called it slam dancing. So this was the early forms of mosh pitting. So shit would get crazy, and then then some vatos be shooting each other and shit, And then so they got they weren't allowed to play in a lot of like Hollywood, like on the Sunset Strip, because they were like, no, this band is you're not playing here.
They scared Motley Crue.
They scared that fucking the club owners and shit. We're not gonna no fucking shootings here. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking Mexicans. And Mike Muir's like, I'm a white guy, eh? What the?
He used to wear that fucking bandana over his eyes.
Yeah, so you can barely see his eyes. Yeah. Maybe they won't know I'm a white guy.
Yeah, you see the picture, you're like, these guys don't play fucking punk thrash or whatever.
Yeah.
They were labeled like thrash, but they were like punk.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, that slam dancing was the early form of mosh.
Yeah.
And
well, and because of that, they were like they kind of got hardcore. Their scenes were like just would get crazy. They didn't play LA, so they would come up here. So they were playing like just like Slayer. They'd come up here and play at Ruthie's with with Exodus and all those bands. Like that's where the East Bay especially. That's where Ruthie's Inn is. I think in Berkeley, and they would all come up there and play those shows. And if you watch Murder in the Front Row, which is pretty much a documentary about Ruthie's and Exodus and the thrash scene in the 80s. Yeah, they're mentioned in there. They'd come up here and play with Exodus. And yeah, they had to come up here. So they started taking off big up here. But then they influenced bands like, what was the band that Ray, before he joined Violence, was in his Attitude Adjustment.
Oh, yeah.
So there was those punk, metal, and thrash was kind of starting to become one thing, and I think that's where thrash got its speed from was the punkers.
They were a bigger influence than they got big. Like, they were more influence on other bands than their fame got.
Yeah, and as they developed, they definitely got more metal, became more of a metal thrash band. Because, like I said, my favorite album from them is Lights, Camera, Revolution, and that's a metal thrash album. But I love Institutionalized and all that stuff. The punky, you saw your mom and your mommy's dead and all that.
Well, what's funny is when I first heard it from my buddy O'Neill, he had it, and I was like, "Wow, I was blown away." I was like, "This is another. Where are you finding this shit from?"
Where the hell you get this?
And but yeah, and then. But now listening to it, I mean, obviously because we were young then, it's almost like comical. It's like, we used to think this was like hardcore shit, and it was back then.
Yeah,
Well,
because
now it's kind of funny listening.
It was just raw, and like in that song too, it's like funny because every time, like I'll put on just different playlists on Spotify, and the other day I put up like '90s alternative rock or whatever, and what's that? Puddle of Mud came up. Or no, was it 90s? I don't know. Puddle of Mud came up with She Fucking Hates Me. I'm like, that's fucking suicidal. I saw your mommy and your mommy's dead. I start singing those lyrics and Jennifer starts laughing. And then we start chiming in. And then she fucking hates me. It's like, yeah, they ripped them off. That was suicidal. I think they influence a lot more bands than they're really giving credit for,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, they kind of go to the roadside. Just people forget about them, like we did. The only reason I kind of found them because I started going through my old my albums, my list of everything I have in iTunes.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, there's an old '80s band that there's another one. And Suicidal, it's like, oh, yeah, why the fuck haven't we done them yet? Because they were.
And it's funny because without bands like Suicidal, you wouldn't have like Baba Yaga today.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Even though like you play Baba Yaga next to Suicidal, you're like they blow their ass away. Like it's not even close. It makes them look like kids' music.
Or like fucking Jamie Josta, Hatebreed. You wouldn't have that because look at Jamie Josta with the bandana on his head, and it's hardcore. Like a lot of these hardcore bands, you really wouldn't have without that. Sick of It All, Madball. I mean, do you get those without Suicidal? I don't know. Maybe you do. Because punk did exist, maybe it'd go that route, but they were very influential. Just you never saw like gangbangers on TV, and especially when they rock. Like it was like they were doing that, they were rapping.
And then for a while they had a couple black guys in the band.
Yeah,
like, was it
Rocky George.
Yeah,
Is there a guitar player?
Seeing them, you're like, they play fucking metal? What the fuck? Or thrash?
Dude, he's a sick guitar player. That's Rocky playing on Lights Camera Revolution.
Yeah.
Dude, I love all the guitar work in that album. Freaking sick. Yeah, you just didn't see that. And then when they played, what got them the notoriety was Institutionalized.
Yeah.
They were the first like hardcore punk band to get like substantial airplay on MTV. Were Institutionalized. And
and that video, if you remember, there's a bunch of autos in it.
Yeah, and just lowrider cars and shit, and
Yeah, it's fucking funny.
My beer's trippy now because I went back, started watching some of the old videos, and it's like, dude, look at him. He looks like a little fucking kid. As he was. I mean, basically. I think he said that he didn't think this was going to be anything because it was just for playing parties and shit. Yeah. And he was going to college at the time, in like junior college. And he's like, but then realized we started growing. And so we just ended up doing it.
Yeah.
And then it became his bread and butter because he's the only guy that's still there. And then I was looking at like Wikipedia. It still has listed Dave Lombardo as their drummer, which he was, but I don't think he is now because he joined Testament.
Yeah.
Unless he's pulling double duty.
Oh, and I had seen, what was it? It was one of the little rock clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
They announced that, Lombardo's in Testament.
Yeah.
And he was in the room with Chuck Billy and shit. And I was like, oh yeah, he did join Testament.
Yeah, because it was an announcement on Sirius. I don't remember if it was Jose talking about it on Sirius on the Metal Channel or if they did it with Eddie Trunk. I don't know, but I heard him, in an interview, and Chuck was kind of just trying to keep it on, not let the secret out, and then by the end of the interview, they said it. So. But yeah, no, Suicidal is it's a good band. I don't think they get enough credit. Very punky, but thrashy. They definitely are thrash because they brought that punk element, and it got in there. In like the 90s, there was a lot more punk in metal too. I'd say there was
because punk was more. That's what grunge kind of brought it back.
Yeah,
but every time they bring it like a element back, it morphs and shit.
It does. It has changed. It's not like the Clash or Sex Pistols. It just keeps kind of morphing. Because that's true. Grunge, those guys, a lot of like Nirvana stuff was punk. They were just raw punk. But then you got like my wife. She loves pop punk, that Green Day type of band or Blink 182, where it's all the happy. And I always tell her, like, oh, you love the major scale. I can't stand major. I write everything in minor.
Sublime. I like Sublime.
Sublime, no. There's bands like that I like, but I just
kind of crossover.
But I just like minor. I like D minor. It's the saddest of all the keys. If you can name that quote from what movie down below, go ahead and do that. And our next song's called Lick My... It goes to 11, and it's called Lick My Love Pump.
We're showing our age. Most of these people who are here,
they're like, what?
What the fuck are they talking about?
Fucking old people.
Gallo Negro. What is that shit?
Orale! I'm surprised it took so long for us to get to them.
Well, our memories are going.
Yeah.
Banana Man in there.
Well, you know what, too? I equate it like, I don't know if this happens to everybody, but it always seems to happen to me. I used to get, you don't go into record stores anymore. But anything, say you go into Best Buy and you got to get something, and then you just go brain dead when you're there in this situation going, okay, I know I need what the hell do I need to get? And I had that always go on. It used to be record stores. All right, I'm in Rasputin's, I'm in the record store, or I'm in Tower Records. Okay, I know there's some CDs that I wanted to get. Which ones? Unless I went specifically in there to get a CD, but a lot of times I'd go in there just to browse and stuff. Yeah. And then your brain just goes blank. You're like, oh, I don't know. Oh,
we're putting that bitch on ice.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Your brain gets put on ice.
So.
And then get it back from the fucking kid.
Yeah, that fucking kid.
Go get your fucking CD back.
It wasn't that bad. She loved Joe. It's just we have to make it worse.
Well, I was immune to all this shit back then because they wouldn't tell me shit.
No, she would just vent. She would never say it to Joe's face. She would never tell him that.
I'm hearing this shit like all second.
But that was mom. She'd complain about somebody and then she would never confront them. And then she would go to therapy for weeks about it. It's like, Mom, why don't you just tell that bitch to fucking fuck off? No, I can't. I don't. Fuck her. You come home crying, that fucking vieja. Fuck that. Yeah, because when she was younger, shit, she wouldn't hesitate to fuck. I remember we were living in those apartments on Redwood Road, and some old lady started yelling at me and my friend. My mom came out and just shoot her out. Get back in the house, you old bag. Get the fuck out of here.
She was getting older, so she got like Grandma Tony.
Yeah, then she got older.
Like her mom. Grandma Tony was real timid.
Yeah.
But that's what she died of, stomach cancer, like it ate her up.
Yeah, you hold that shit inside, you don't get it out.
And poor Ginger, her dog.
Yeah,
she got some of that shit.
Poor Ginger all shaking. That's our grandma. Yeah, our grandma died of the cancer. Our mother fell in a pool. Yeah. Whole different thing. But yeah, it's not good to keep that shit in. Just let it out. Fucking. But
if you remember. If you don't remember, well
then maybe it's bad. It's good. You're like, whatever. I'm good. Ignorance is bliss. I don't remember it. Cool. Fuck it. Never happened. Living like a dog. You got that short-term memory. Well, you got anything else?
No. Well, the one thing I'll mention is, Zeal didn't really like Suicidal, so we didn't play them on the Boulevard that much.
Oh, so yeah, you guys weren't hearing that in his car.
He said he did, but he wouldn't play them, so it's like he didn't really like them.
He was like, "Look, I don't play those wetbacks. Sorry, Joe."
That's not
He's like, "Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean anything by that, but I'm not playing those guys." But the singer's a white guy. Yeah, but no, I like him though. I do. I'm not going to be caught playing that.
They're not appropriate for the Boulevard.
Yeah, this dude, you
can't be cruising with that shit.
Yeah, this isn't like 2022.
Where's my Dream Warriors?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's play that song again. You know, there's other songs on that album. Let's play that song again. That was fucking Wano. He'd do that shit. Play like the same, but his was because the mini truck and the speaker thing. Yeah. And he had the certain songs that had all the extra bass.
The boom, boom.
And so it was like, oh, fuck, we're coming up on a bunch of people. I'm going to fuck. He'd be all fucking, but we had CD players by that point, so you could just hit the number. Bink, and there it played. It's like that Enigma, that shit.
You didn't hear, rewind on the cassette.
No, we'd have to wait for that shit.
Noise.
No, it was digital fucking, it was a CD player. But, dude, he'd roll around with that fucking Enigma. I don't know if anybody remembers the early 90s, that Gregorian chants. It's like monk chants with like techno house music in the background.
Because they had that on that Mist, that video game.
Yeah, it was stuff like that.
Game Mist.
Yeah,
it was on there.
Boom, 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 boom. Like, here comes fucking Wano. The house is shaking.
Turn it up.
All right, so look at the pickable links. We have them all down below.
Excuse me. I want to mention I didn't puss out, but I put it on hold.
Oh yeah, that's one thing we
my gums. I was scheduled today. Actually, I was supposed to be scheduled to have all the teeth pulled to get ready for my implants. But looking at my budget, I was doing my budget from when I made the appointment, and I was like, it's a little too steep for me right now. So, and plus, I'm going to go get some other quotes here, try out some other dentists to see if maybe I can bring it down the price a little bit. So
well, I think too that you should add that. Well, this is what you told me, that they told you after what they initially quoted you.
Yeah, well, when I first went, the local office right here, the closest to my place, I went there because they were closed, and they had quoted me $2,500, and I was like, for fucking implants? I never heard of them that cheap, but all right. I figured the implants had been out for a while, so maybe that's why the price came down.
Yeah.
So they said, but you need to have a consultation with our oral surgeon, and he's crosstown at our other office. So that's the last one I went to, was with the oral surgeon, and he basically explained the whole procedure to me. so I made the appointment with him for today, and then this past week I canceled it because I did my budget. Because when I got out of there, they quoted me $7,500 for them, just for the oral surgeon. So now we're getting more like what I thought it was going to be. But if initially the $2,500, I was like, oh, that's no, I can work that. So when you have the $7,500 coming to 10 G's, that's a lot of scratch.
Yeah.
So, and basically the payments that they wanted to give me were basically like a car payment. It's like, well, I don't need a car payment right now because if something else happens, like I could probably manage it, but then if something else happens, then I'm fucked. So yeah, so I just rethought it and I said, well, I'm gonna just put on hold for now. And
it doesn't sound like you got the full picture initially, and then
they didn't give me the full picture, which pissed me off because it's like, well, I'm there. You should explain that to me, like what's happening.
Yeah,
they just told me you needed to see the oral surgeon to have the teeth removed. So, which made sense then. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to have the old teeth out. And, but then I was talking to a buddy at work. Well, two of them. One of them just went and had his teeth pulled out and then just had dentures. And he said that was, for him, was about $2,500 for just get regular dentures. He's all, but with the regular dentures, he's got to get these dental pads, he says, for them because they don't fit right. And sometimes they hurt, like the way they sit in his mouth. I was like, that's fucking, that's like old school. I don't want that. Then the other guy came across at work. He's right now in the process of getting just the lowers done, the implants. And he says he's already spent $17,000. And that's just for the bottoms because he had complications. I guess the implant didn't take into the jaw. So they had to go redo it. And then, so that was another cost. So, and then talking to my brother, off the air, you even mentioned that. You go, well, yeah, if there's complications, then that's going to be more money.
Yeah, because they don't tell you about that, but that happens. Like, even like you get a tooth removed, like you could get dry socket, and then it could get infected, so you got to go back and do another. And so what does that mean with these implants? If they don't take or your body starts to reject it, they have to pull it, let it heal, and then do it again.
Yeah.
And then it ain't free every time. It's another,
Yeah, they keep adding to it. And,
and they don't tell people that.
No, they don't say shit. And he said that it's been about a year since he started, and he still doesn't have his bottoms done.
Yeah,
and because he had complications, and he's already in with his dentist, the dentist he went to. Well, he's already $17,000 in, and he's almost there. But so I was like, oh yeah, fuck that, because these guys were already at $10,000, and that was before we even started. So, and then that's the other thing you got to think of when you do it. You got to I'm just gonna go for it because you got to have the rest of your teeth pulled out. And so that means for a while, you're not going to have no teeth. And,
that's why I was calling you Gummy.
Yeah. And so you got to live with that. Yeah. And then if you have complications, that's even longer, and then if you have, like they said, they can do temporaries, which are basically the dentures themselves for, you don't have teeth, but then that's going to cost money because they got to make the temporaries for you.
Yeah.
So, so if you go the cheaper route and just go gummy, but then how long are you doing that? 6-8 months? So either way, you got to, when you do it, you just got to go for it. That's the way I'm looking at it. But I just want to make sure I'm clear on the price so my finances are good. So that's why I'm going to postpone it here. But I do intend to do it. I mean, because I'm just getting older and I'm losing more teeth here and there every year. So.
Well, if you're going to have them pulled, then might as well just you save the money, and if a couple more fall out, oh well, then you don't have to have those ones pulled.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If I put it off for a year or two again, maybe a couple more will fall off, so it'll be a little cheaper when I go to get the rest of them.
Yeah.
But,
that's
go Grandpa Joe. I just embrace my future.
Yeah, that kind of now scares me when I think about it, because our mother in her 40s was always having root canals done.
Yeah, she had bad teeth. But then she had real good insurance because they were Kellogg's Union.
Yeah.
So she went and got, from what she told me, she had all her teeth root canal.
Yeah. She had them all.
But then she went in years later after we had moved out and all that. They moved back east to Omaha. She went and got the implants when they came out. So all that root canal work was a waste because she went and got implants anyway.
Well, I think, the natural tooth is it's only going to last so long, right?
Well, yeah. So like she double did it, but she had good insurance. So, and then our Grandpa Joe on our dad's side, our dad's dad, He never had teeth since when I was little. He had like 1 or 2 teeth left.
I don't remember.
Poor farm workers.
Yeah.
You know, so he didn't really have a dental plan or nothing. So he just, you know, they fell out.
No, he'd pull them out. Yeah, like you were doing. You got medical.
Well, I mean,
and pulling your teeth out.
A couple of times it was like on a weekend, and you know, you can't get a dentist on the weekend. You know, and so it was easier just to fucking pull that motherfucker out. So that's what I did. But it wasn't like, you know, if it was, I could make an appointment and make it in there. Yeah, then I just do that because I know there's infections and all that.
Yeah, that's really risky.
But that's when, like, you know, you're in the middle of the night, you're sweating because the pain hurts so bad, and it's like a Friday night, and you know tomorrow you're not going to get into a dentist. So I just did what I had to do.
Man, that's crazy, man. Most people ain't doing that. But oh yeah, so there's the chronicles.
But there was one time I was having dinner and I made a little rice bowl with tuna.
Yeah.
So there was nothing hard in the food that I was eating.
Yeah.
And so I'm eating and I felt something pop, like, what the fuck is that? And so I kind of spit out the food that I had in my mouth. And the crown came off.
Oh, damn,
The whole top of the tooth, the crown just broke off. I was a motherfucker for eating tuna and rice. What the fuck?
Damn.
So, yeah.
That meant it was already cracked. You just finally...
Yeah, it was already dead.
Yeah.
So, but that pushed it over the top. So
right.
Shit like that happened to me. So that's why I was like, you know, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get the implants. But financial wise, you know, it's going to take a while. So
yeah,
I said I'm going to do it. I'm still going to do it, but it's just going to take maybe a year or two.
Yeah, but the thing was, you had it scheduled, and today was going to be the day. Mm-hmm. You know, I honestly don't. They go pull all your fucking teeth. I didn't think you were going to be doing this today, but since the finance thing.
See, when the thing is it's the financing, because he said, well, we can do it over a couple visits. So they'd pull some of them out. Like he said, if you want, you can pull some of them out. I go, well, can you just pull them all at once so I don't have to keep coming back? And he goes, yeah, we could do that. I'll do that. I was like, well, let's do that then. I'm already going to get some pulled out. I might as well just have all of them.
Well, that's what I meant. Like, if you had done that today, I think everything be all swollen and inflamed and shit. I don't know how much you feel like
I would. Yeah, my gums would have been all, you know, irritated red and shit. So yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't because of money, and all right, we ended up doing a show.
Yeah, so we went another way. Well, yeah, just if anybody was listening to the last one and was wondering what the hell happened.
Yeah, we were kind of hinting at it, but then we figured it just would make good banter.
Well, when I told you, you're like, "Oh, we're putting that on our show."
Yeah,
this is good entertainment here. And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. You know, it's part of life."
Well, because you're not going to be able to hide it once you become Gummy McGum Man. Like freaking, you're going to be all, you know, and then like when you can see it, the face like sinks in when people don't have no teeth. Come on, we've all seen crackheads. Grandpa Joe. Most people have seen Grandpa.
Put Grandpa Joe's picture on our Instagram.
Yeah, where he's making that face, just bobbling, touching his nose, because he. And it's like because you got no teeth, man. So this jaw goes even closer to your nose, man.
But he gummed the fuck out of steak.
He fucking chomped steak. It didn't stop him. Yeah,
he was eating nuts. He would eat everything with those gums.
Oh yeah, because like Joe said, I don't even remember having teeth. Yeah. He would just gum everything.
No,
and then,
I remember that my earliest memory of him, I mean, I was little, maybe 3 years, whatever, what I remember of him. But he had maybe 1 or 2 teeth in the front, like sticking out. Yeah. But yeah, like he really never had teeth at all from what I remember.
Yeah, he got, in his later years, Dad got him dentures. So he had, it was weird to see Grandpa there hot and teeth, he's smiling.
But then, I didn't want, that's what got me away from just doing dentures is because he would always play with his fucking dentures.
Yeah, you hear him clacking around, clack.
I was like, that's not a good look. I don't want to do that.
Nah, yeah, I'm with you on that. I think I'd probably go your route.
Yeah, with the implants, it's like they're in there, they snap in there, they're firm, they're good. So that's what I want to do. So I still plan to do it, but it's delayed.
All right, well, there you go. So there's the update on Joe's face.
So what are these episodes you're going to see me and I'm not going to have teeth? I'm just going to surprise everybody.
Yeah, that'd be bonus material right there. Promo code bumps are bad.
Bumps are bad too.
So, all right. And yeah, we'll have all the links down below and check out on Instagram.
Yeah, check it. I'll put Grandpa's picture on there so you guys check it.
Yep. And see you guys next time.
Later.
Bye.